Welcome to Going Fishing with Brett Raymer from Tanked. This is episode number 4. Brett, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, what's up, JC?
It's good to see you. And Agnes, it's such a pleasure to sit across from you.
Thank you, JC. Likewise, I appreciate it.
So what's the feedback been so far?
Everything fantastic, man. Super excited. Everybody loves it. We got it on all the platforms so everybody can download it. Yep. And we're just excited to keep telling everybody our story.
It's been, for me, it's been really fun just to relive all these memories because you forget so many. So when we get to actually sit here, there's so much more that I want to talk about. I mean, there's only a limited amount of time, but it's been absolutely amazing for me. I love this journey.
And the cool thing is also getting to go back and watch some of the old episodes.
Yes.
You know, so it's been a minute since I've seen them all. Most people don't even know this, that I never ever saw an episode prior to it airing. None of us did.
None of us did. We didn't get access to that footage. We didn't know how it was going to be cut.
When would you see the episode? When the
rest of the world watched it.
So
yeah.
they did such a good job.
Yeah.
The first season. Why mess something up that's not, why ruin it? So we just were like, you know what? You guys are doing such a great job.
Yeah.
Don't even sweat it. So during the scenes itself, there would be things that we wouldn't do and that we would edit ourselves within the scene.
Yeah.
But the final product, we would never see the final product until it aired.
So we watched it when everyone else watched it. We were like, oh, what are they going to show?
Wow, that's amazing to me. What about when the show went on hiatus and kind of wrapped up? Did you ever go back? And I know you're watching episodes now for the podcast as we talk about them, but did you go back and watch any episodes? Or it's got to be weird when you're clicking through, because I think there's something came out that said somewhere in the world right now, there's an episode of Tanked airing somewhere in the world.
Correct.
Do you stop when you're flicking through and you see yourself, you stop and watch the episode?
I do sometimes because certain memories pop up, just like, from childhood when you have scents that remind you of certain pleasant things. Obviously, when we watch episodes, we were all in different mindsets, frames, whatever, happy, sad. We all had different things going on in our lives. Yeah. And we go, how did I pull that off?
Yeah.
Right.
I have it set on my computer, my TV, so that because I have YouTube TV, you can set it so that when it comes on, and I see it, it's on at least every day. Yeah. So the thumbnail, it'll pop up as a big thumbnail, and I'll see Agnes and Redneck on a thumbnail or myself on a thumbnail. It's pretty funny though. And I'll watch it once in a while. I'll be, hey, look, Tank's on. Let me check this episode out for a minute. And I'll put it on for 20, 30 minutes, watch it, a little bit of it, walk around the house, listen to it. It's funny. Then myself laugh at myself,
Do you forget, when you're watching an episode, do you forget what the next scene is? And are you surprising yourself when you watch an episode after a couple of years?
Yeah.
I honestly, I watch it, and some of the lines, I don't even remember. I make myself laugh. I started giggling. I was watching I was watching a couple of episodes before we came here, to catch up, and I was literally laughing. I was laughing. Some of the funny things that we did, some of the things that we did. It was the way we did it, right? A lot of things in our show everything was pretty much realistic.
It was innocent back then.
It was very little stuff that was planned or pre-planned. Everything was done to the point where, if we were pranking Wade, everyone knew except for Wade. They wanted the real reactions. They wanted real reactions, and that was what they got. So a lot of the stuff that we did, it was funny to us because we were doing it. We were like, oh my God.
But sometimes we would think we were pranking someone when in reality we were the ones getting pranked. So they'd flip it on us. Even the producers were in on it. So they were telling us one thing, thinking one thing, and it became something else.
So there was an episode that in one of the first episodes, obviously we'll get back to Betty White, but real quick, we had this pinball machine, and there was a piece of glass that I was supposed to break, during the I knew, but nobody else knew, and I was supposed to kind of trip and drop the glass. So I tripped and dropped the glass, and the glass didn't break. Yeah, exactly. So everybody went, no, we're supposed to break. And then we laughed at it, and then eventually you'll see in the episode, I actually kind of had to throw the glass down
get it to break.
Get it to break. But that was a fun part of doing stuff was the pranks. We had a good time doing it.
Well, today we're going to kind of break down one of those bigger pranks, and today we're breaking down season number 6, episode number 5, titled Betty White has an app for that. We just recently lost Betty White, a national treasure. You guys had the honor of working with her, and how special was that to work with Betty White?
That's amazing, dude. I mean, just got to think about it. I mean, someone that's been in television for 80 years, she's the lady when it comes to, comedy, television.
Yes.
I mean, there's so much about her. It was just such an honor to be in her presence. And just that whole couple of weeks with Wade was just him having a crush on Betty that I had no idea, you know, and it just, that was all like real. Like it was, if you really watch the show and you really watch when they talk about him, you see him turn red a lot. And he's really turning red because he was true.
Well, she's beautiful. Number one.
You can't fake that, right? You can't fake him like turning red. So he had this like little giggly, googly crush, and just the whole thing was pretty funny.
And complete class act.
Yeah.
I mean, not only was she funny, but she was so on point and just such a class act.
Yeah, she had no idea about the aquarium. That was a part of it. It was a surprise. So we didn't really get a chance to meet her up front.
Until the reveal day.
Until the reveal day. Then afterwards, we were able to hang out with her, meet her, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, let's go back to that. 'Cause watching it, it feels like the whole thing is a surprise. You guys go to Denver to visit the Moore's Animal Foundation. You decide to build a Noah's Ark themed tank, and that's when they reveal to you that the tank will be used for the Black Tie Gala that's honoring Betty White in LA. So was that the first time you heard that Betty White is involved? Did you go to this Moore's Foundation thinking you're doing a tank for the Moore's Foundation, and then they dropped Betty White on you?
No, so we knew that there was some kind of gala that the tank was going to have to be moved, but we didn't know any of the particulars. They were still working out the particulars. You know, we didn't handle any of the particulars. The production company, the network, the back end, they handled all of the back end stuff. So Wade and I kind of just went with the flow. Yeah. But we didn't have any idea really that she was going to really, really be involved until we actually got there.
Yeah, because you never really know. I mean, it's Betty White. She does what she wants.
Right. And that reaction from Wade that we see when they say Betty White, and he's tapping, he's like, Betty, that's the first time you discovered that Wade is a diehard Betty White fan.
Yeah, like that hard. Yeah, like really, like, for real. Like, I mean, it's not like we're sitting around the office Wade's going, hey, I got these Betty White pictures. You know? But, you know, I mean, there was a lot of things, like I said, that, you know, Wade, I always joke with people. We go on the road and I joke with people. I'm like, I always tell people, we ever see the Betty White episode? I'm like, oh my God, you remember the crush that Wade has on Betty White? And they're all like, yeah. I go, you should see his tattoo on his ass.
Oh my God, I forgot about that tattoo.
Really has a tattoo?
Oh my God. No, but I remember the tattoo, the Heather tattoo.
Oh my God, yeah. Just
wait, now hold on. Come on, we're family here.
No, there was a whole nother episode. Remember in the beginning where she got the fake tattoo?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So it's just another episode.
Just another prank.
It sparks a memory.
You know, you shot so many episodes and you've done so much. Remember, we shot 156 episodes. And in some of the episodes in the beginning, the first 3 or 4 seasons, there was 2 people in each episode.
Right.
Just like Betty White. Betty White had a gentleman by the name of Michael. That was the computer guy from, I can't remember the name, that built our app. I can't remember the name of that company. But either way, there was 2. So we've had more than 156 people.
The app tank.
You know.
Game Pill,
that's right. It's been 250 people that different episodes or different things, tanks that we've built because there was 2 an episode. So, you know, Antonio Brown, there was 1, and, you know, Betty White, that happened to be 2. But if we talk about the pranks, though, in that episode, though, when we got the guy from Canada, like, everyone knew what was going on except for him, and he was visibly mad. I don't know if you saw that, but he was literally mad, dude.
Wait, which one?
We smashed his phone. We smashed his phone.
Yes.
And we swapped the phones out, and then we smashed his phone and put the other phone in our pocket.
Wouldn't you be mad?
yes.
Could you imagine?
He really, really thought that was his phone, and the dude was highly upset. Like, I thought he was gonna cry, but it was funny.
Well, the first prank you guys do with his phone is, I think Wade has it in his pocket. He's pretending to get something out of the tank. The phone falls into the fish tank. And if that happens to anyone's phone, I would be so angry.
Screwed.
Were you ever concerned, like, what if he flipped out? What if he's like, screw you guys, I'm out of here? What would you do then in that situation? Just tell him.
We roll with it.
We roll with it.
They keep rolling.
We go, hey, come back, it's a prank. Hey, come back. Hey, where you going? Oh, you know.
Well, one of my favorite pranks took place during that episode, and that's when you, Agnes, called Wade pretending to be
Betty White.
Can we just talk for a second?
Yes.
Okay. I come in Agnes's office and I'm like, Agnes, we need you to be Betty White.
I'm the worst
impersonator. And she comes with the impersonation. She uses an English accent.
I'm the worst. They came to me. I'm the worst impersonator, but
Where did that come from,
I don't
Agnes?
know, but I liked it. Eventually, it worked out.
Oh, yeah, it did.
Eventually,
you
it worked
did a good
out.
job. It was
I did a grand job.
You did a grand job.
I did a grand job. And
Cat's meow.
The cat's meow.
What the hell? The cat's meow.
Because like back in the day, if you like someone, you say you do the cat's meow.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sure,
so that's what I said, and it sounded good. Give me some props.
I'll give you props. It was this, honestly, I couldn't believe that he actually went for it. And what was even funnier is how the show closed out. I wanted to be honest with the guy and tell him, hey, it was a prank. And I come in the office at the end and he's on the phone with Betty White. So it
real.
kind of fit into...
Everyone was in on it.
Yeah.
Except
Everyone,
for Wade.
Except for Wade.
Except for Wade.
When did you tell him?
Right now?
I mean, that's it. Unless he watched it. Yeah. I don't know. If he didn't watch it, then it's now. If he's listening, hi Wade.
Who knows? But you know what? The funny thing is that I don't even know if you believe. Like, it was us. Oh yeah, Wade. Okay, whatever. He was just so excited about the whole episode. I'd never seen Wade like that.
Now,
it was nice.
In this episode, you guys have so many great lines, and they just jump out to me. But it's one of my favorite lines is in this episode, you tell the app creator that Wade has his own app, and that is an appetite.
Oh my God! Yes,
that line.
Yeah, you did it.
So yeah, I mean, look, I love comedy, and it's always been me to just be like witty and just come off the cuff with things.
And then once it starts, we can't stop.
And then once it starts, it's over. I just keep going and going and going. But that we can. I just want to touch base on something real quick. I don't even remember. I don't think we touched base on this. But when we first started the show, I had two producers from Animal Planet that worked for Animal Planet. Mm-hmm. Because Nancy Glass Productions was teaming up with another production company to film the first couple episodes. I get a phone call from them, and they're like, hey, we need to meet you at Starbucks. So I go down and meet them at Starbucks, and they're like, so we need to talk to you for a minute. I'm like, what's up, guys? You look really serious. And they're like, yeah, we think you talk about Wade too much. Like you talk about his weight, badly. You're abusing him too much. And like, we think that you need to simmer it down. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, you guys are entitled to your opinion, but I'm like, did you guys ever watch Sanford and Son? And I'm like, did Fred Sanford ever stop calling Lamont dummy? And mm-hmm. they go, no. And I go, that's the same reason why I'm not going to stop. Take care, gentlemen. Have a good day. So they got fired, and we moved on, and we continued, and that's what we continued through with everything that I saw the show to be. Was that fun, family, married with children, not Orange County Chop, but not very serious, but just fun. And that's what we did.
It was fun.
Because you guys, you were a family, and that's what
all families do. Let's be real here.
Families, they bust each other's chops. They have fun. At the end of the day, they love each other. And they know we're just joking around and having a good time.
Yes.
And I watch Orange County Choppers a lot. Love those guys. Great guys. But they were a little bit mean to each other. And they were a little bit that's their show is the reason why we have a show. I would watch that show and be like, I could do that. But I was like, I could do that with Married with Children, and we could be a lot family friendly and fun, and that's kind of what I wanted.
It was never came across as malicious.
We
pranks or
never,
jokes, and then
it was never like passive aggressive.
Yes,
meaning that way. It was really we all knew it was a joke. Mm-hmm. It was never like never ever was taken that way. So it was fun, and then so many jokes would come out of those jokes.
Yeah, for sure. Sure.
Now, in this episode, so you're building this tank, the Noah's Ark tank for Betty White for the gala. The company's based in Denver, but you're doing the build in L.A. After the gala, do you disassemble that tank and then take it back to Denver and rebuild it? Is that the first time you ever did a dual location build?
We didn't do it on the show as a dual location, mm-hmm. And we've moved tanks before. We weren't a part of the move, Brett and Wade. That was done outside with our company. We packed it up, had it shipped off to Denver, sent the crew out there, had them, reinstall it and get it reset back up. But we've done that multiple times, where we've had live events like the convention center here before. Mm-hmm. You have a lot of times where we've done tanks for the convention center. You want to have a booth.
Phone booth tank.
You set it up in the convention, et cetera, and then break it down, bring it somewhere else, bring it back to the shop and set it back up.
So it's a common thing.
Yeah, it was a common thing in the aquarium world.
In this Betty White episode, the other storyline is that you guys get your own app.
Yeah.
Is the app still around? What happened to the app? Was it a successful app? Did it bomb?
Unfortunately, it's the Animal Planets app.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not Brett and Wade's app or Agnes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'd be
I'll
making.
get an Agnes app though now.
We got a little piece of the app, but the app is still out there. It's called the Tanked app. You could download it. Maybe might be $1. I don't know, but you build your own aquarium. It was cool. You interact with Brett and Wade. It was a cool concept. It was a cool idea. I think the app could have been pushed a little bit more, but the long story short is it is what it is, and I'm glad we were able to do it.
Yeah.
This show has enabled me and the people that I brought into the show to do things in our life that we've never would have been able to do without the show. Meeting celebrities, having apps. We have our own video. We actually created our own.
God.
We're going to talk about the Akon episode down the road, but Wade and I have it's called Fish. We created a video. It's called Fish Better Have My Money.
I forgot.
And it's a playoff on the Rihanna song, right? Or I think it's one of those songs.
I know which song.
Yeah. So the thing is, we've done so much because of this show. Met so many people like Betty White, Antonio Brown. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. And that is worth more than any dollar we made. It's legacy, right? We've built a legacy. We have 156 episodes that when I'm no longer here anymore on this planet, that people are still going to be able to watch forever. And to me, that was super important.
What was it like that moment when you met Betty White? The tank build was a success. You set it up, the Noah's Ark theme, 2 of each fish. Betty White shows up to the gala. I mean, a couple hiccups along the way. But what was that? Was that the first time you met her when she was escorted into the ballroom? Yeah,
it was pretty exciting. I mean, the ambiance. I mean, having somebody like that with the presence of walking in. Now you got to remember, we did this, I think, in 2013. So we're talking about 9 years ago.
Yeah.
So she was 90.
Yeah.
For her to remember that she had 5 aquariums and that she used to work for her aquariums and the things that she was talking about, to me, was just incredible. I lost my grandmother last year, 94, during the pandemic because of boredom, right? She was home all the time.
Loneliness.
And she just basically, fell one day and didn't have anybody there for her. And, and she was living by herself and she was doing fine. She was driving. My grandma was doing great. But to see, it reminded me of my grandma. It just, when I saw Betty White, having that grandma feeling and being able to be in the room with a legacy like that, knowing that Brett and Wade were actually in the room with somebody like that, to me, that was legendary. Yeah. So
now, did you guys hang out the entire? So we saw the episode. You kind of wrapped with her seeing the tank. It was fantastic. You guys look great in your tuxedos, by the way. Did you hang out that night at the gala? And what was that like?
Yeah, we got to stay and hang out and get to eat some food and listen to the video and see. She's been with them for 40 years.
Yeah.
So they had shown video, back in the day, and just of what the foundation does and all the things that they have done. But the Morris Foundation does some amazing things for animals. So, and she's with them for, like I said, she's been an animal lover her whole life. So for us, that's big. And Wade is a much bigger, I love animals, but Wade is a much bigger animal lover than I am. I mean, every animal that you could ever imagine, the guy loves.
We've had in our shop
5,000 birds, and we had this, and dogs, snakes, and
we have a pig.
So I think he related to that part of her a lot more than I did. I loved her for, her television work and what she did over the years made me laugh, and her comedy. I was just so enthralled by what she did with the Golden Girls, the comedy of those guys. And she was the last Golden Girl to go. So that was an era of us growing up. And to me, to be able to be on screen with the Betty White, legendary.
What was it like for you, Agnes, that night and being with her and spending that evening with her?
I didn't get. That was only that they were the only ones that got to go, and only a few. Only our executive producer Matt Carter and a few producers, because that was such a very.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We were a part of it as in the shop as far as with the pranks and everything. But when I remember when everyone got back from that, I said how was Betty White, and everyone had just what I always figured, because I had always been such an admirer of her because she was such a classy lady, but it was also funny, and she was a ball buster, that's what I loved about her, and she was such a hard worker. And I said, so at her age, how did she do? How was it? And I remember Jeff telling me, he's like, she was did not miss a beat. She did not miss a step. She did not miss a line. She knew exactly, at that age to be able to do that. And just not miss a beat is incredible to me. So I'm really, when I heard that she, passed, I was just sad. It's like you're everyone's grandma, you grow up with her, and she's just lovable. And the fact that even the little bit that we got to experience throughout the shop with her was just a great moment for all of us. So I loved it, and I'm sad that she's gone.
Like I said, doing this show has brought us in front of icons, celebrities, athletes, regular Joes, people that have been sick, police officers, military. I mean, you name it. This show has taken us around the world. It's done so much for us. But like I said, we were doing this episode now because we're paying a tribute to a legend.
Yep.
And like I said, to live to 100, we all should only be, 3/4 of that lucky, right? Because that's an amazing, amazing feat to live to 100 years old. And we were able to be a part of her 100 years. We had a segment of her life.
Little piece,
and
little tiny.
That's something that we can show forever, and that to me is just amazing. That in itself, like I told people, what they asked me, one thing that I loved about the show the most, and to me, it's legacy, right? Yeah. At the end of the day, I have something that I could leave forever in the fish world. You can always talk, they're always going to talk about that show Tanks because there's never going to be anything like it.
Nope, one of a kind.
Yeah, and to me, obviously, when we talk about Betty White, it's, when you tie it all in, and we talk about legacy and just the things that we got to experience, the phrase "thank you for being a friend" really just brings a lot to me too. It's been a crazy ride.
Yeah, it is. It is. Like we talked about in episode 1, just from the beginning to where we were at, to when it was a joke, like the family joke, to being able to go from nothing to being in the room with some of the world's biggest athletes, the world's biggest entertainers, the world's biggest singers, country stars. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, JC, look, you know it too, man. You're in that. You're in our industry. You interview it. You're around celebrities too. I mean, your career has brought you to that point where you've been able to do that. And this is like for us. We took an aquarium building company and turned it into an entertainment, mogul worldwide. We entertain people in 190 countries in 35 different languages, and millions and millions and millions of people. And that to me was something that all of us should be proud of. And this episode was great because we were able to do it with the legend.
Well, I think you should too be proud of yourselves too, because you used the line "Thank you for being a friend." I mean, people that watch the show, I met you for the first time, Agnes, episode number 1. But
now I follow you on Instagram. Like, you do all this cool shit. I'm like, that's just so awesome.
But I feel like you became part of my family watching that show, and I'm sure you guys know this, but there's. I'm having a rough week. I can watch Tanked, and there's my family, there's my friends, there's Brett, my brother, and Wade making fun of each other. There's you and Heather, and I think you entered people's homes through that. You still do with the repeats and reruns, and you entered through people's homes and became a part of everyone's family and people's friends all around the world.
That's like late at night. I'd go tired. We just want you. You're so tired. You want to zone out, right? Just like you were saying.
Yeah.
I'd watch Golden Girls, and eat my whatever sloppy ramen or whatever in the room or whatever. But it's just because it's just comforting, right? So it's the same thing.
The funny thing about the show is what you just said is you met Agnes for the first time when we shot our first podcast, but you felt like you knew her already.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the thing is that all the time, like I'll be out of state and I'll be walking and someone will come up to me and they know me and they're like, bowling Tuesday nights, right? Bowling, and I'm like, no, I don't bowl, man. I'm sorry. And then they're like, I'm sorry, I've been staring at you, but I feel like you've been part of my life. Like I know you. I've had girls come over to me and go, have I dated you before? Because you look so familiar.
Oh my
to
God,
me.
that could get you in trouble too.
Yeah. But long story short is I tell them the show Tank. They're like, oh my God, I love your show. It's so you guys, we watch it every episode. I mean, when you watch 100, remember 8 years we were on.
Yeah.
So you watch us for 8 years, we're a part of your family. And that's what happened. And that's what Agnes, myself, and you were trying to do. We're trying to keep the spirit going. And we're going to be here every week. And we're going to recap. And we're going to talk about episodes. And we're going to try to give people the Tank magic, but except via video.
We do have, this is episode number 4, and the first 3 episodes were hit, and I do have a couple questions that people sent in. I found stuff on social media. So before we wrap up, these are fan questions that were sent in. I'm going to throw you guys ways. Do me a favor, though, Agnes, and turn that mic.
Oh, got it.
It's the
I know,
radio
it's the radio. I know, I'm sorry. I'm used to the cameras.
Your TV stars.
No.
That's right.
I know, sorry. I'll get used to it, Andrew, don't worry.
Let's see here. Some of these may be repeats and everything, but so you mentioned in the first podcast that you became stars overnight. What was the biggest change in your life after the first season?
Like I said, I think recognizing us in public. When the first show came out, it was my kids' school. We were shopping at Tilly's, And I told my kids, I go, from this day on, I go, episode aired last night, our life is going to change forever. And my kids, you got to remember, it's 12 years ago, 13, my daughter's 12 and my son is like 5. And they're like, shut up, Dad. And I get out of the car and the first thing they say, like, oh my God, there's the guy from the show that we watched last night. So that was kind of, it was funny that it happened the first day. That was kind of like the moment I think that I realized like, wow, like the power of television and what it can do.
Yeah, for me it was because like I said earlier, I like being creative, and so for me it was seeing something from nothing, like it was literally an idea. It was just a brainstorm idea with that everyone came up with. Yeah, and then when you watch the final product, to think, wow, I had a piece of this, and then when it hit the world. And everyone came and there was so many, reactions to it or whatever it may be from whatever country, to think, wow, I had a little piece in that. That was what I loved about it. It was just taking something from zero to a finished product and being a part of that. That was my joy.
And watching it too, sometimes you guys be brainstorming and mention, let's build this. I'm like, what the hell?
That we did too.
Talking about?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, then within 60 minutes, it is done.
Yeah, well, 60 minutes.
Yeah, right. It only took 60 minutes.
60 hours.
60 minutes.
The funny thing is like you talk about the big time I made it. The one time when I really know that we were big was when we went to Dubai and we're in the middle of filming in Dubai. And we're actually filming, and then there's 2 Arab gentlemen in full garb, turbans, the full outfits and all. And while we're in the middle of filming, they walk up, and the one guy's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. It's my favorite guy from television. What are you doing here in Dubai? I love your aquariums. He goes, you the funniest guy ever. This guy, you make fun of this guy. Like, I don't even know. And you got to remember, we're filming. Like literally, we're right in the middle of film. So all this is on camera. I'm laughing. I'm like sitting there going to wait. I go, wait, I cannot believe this guy. And he starts naming episodes.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
At that point, I knew, I'm like, dude, we're in Dubai filming. Yeah. And we have this guy in Dubai coming up with naming episodes. I go, we made it. That's it. That was when I was like, man, it's crazy, But that was a fun time.
Yeah, that's...
In the first podcast, you talked about the pilot and the Chris Angel tank that you guys built, and that went south, and you had to get... What happened? So I want to know, what happened to the Chris Angel tank?
So we refurbed it, and we put it into a friend of ours' uncle's house. He was kind enough to basically let us use his house in I believe it was Spanish Trails, and he had an amazing house. And he was like, "Yeah, it'll go great in my family room," and we were able to put it in his family room.
So it went to good use then.
Yeah.
Right. Richie mentioned, I think so on episode number 2, Richie mentioned that there was a competing show on Nat Geo. Was it the Fish Tank Kings?
Oh yeah.
Were there other tank shows that try to come on the air and come after you guys?
Just those
I
two.
think just that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just that one. Just the Fish Tank Kings. That was it. It lasted like 3 or 4 seasons and then fizzled out.
That was it?
That was it.
When you go shopping for fish, and I feel like, Agnes, you did that a lot.
Oh, remember Heather had a blast.
You did.
We had a blast.
Did you have a budget for each client of like, you have X amount of dollars to spend on fish?
Yes, there was a budget.
I mean, the thing is that once again, the network took care of the majority of the bills and the fish, et cetera, et cetera. We needed enough fish to make the aquariums look amazing.
Yeah.
Right. So whatever we did, if there was $1,000 budget and we filled the tank up and the tank wasn't good enough for camera, we'd add another 1,000.
Okay. Yeah.
We'd have to make it look good for camera. And then once the cameras were off, the fish got taken out, things got, done down, the tanks got set back to normal. We did a lot of different things to make sure the safety of the fish were our first priority.
One of my favorite characters is when you guys would go to sea-dwelling creatures.
Yes, in LA.
Yes.
Those were our funnest trips.
And deal with Paul.
Paul, oh my God.
Very descriptive when it came to describing
Paul was a trip, man.
Paul's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
Sea Dwelling.
Does he really?
Yes.
There, good guy. Speak to Paul every once in a while. But Sea Dwelling is a great company. They still have amazing fish. We worked with the owners, Eric, Scott, and Paul was one of the workers. But
he was great.
In the beginning, Wade and I did a lot of the fish shopping, and it got to the point where we were just so overwhelmed with traveling and filming, and wanted to get the girls into the episode more. And what better way than shopping, right?
Yeah, and we had a blast. We had so much fun.
And they would film like 5 episodes in one day.
It
So,
was.
like,
They
would
were
go fish
long
shopping.
days.
They were long days.
Yeah,
They
were
fly to
long.
LA,
Yeah.
and then they'd go, okay, we're looking for this fish, just for this episode.
yeah.
And then they would go and film that episode. Then they would film the next episode.
And,
the next
and then
episode.
it'd be, and it wasn't like we just did one episode an hour here, and it was flipping back and forth between different episodes. It
They
was,
had the fish
it
all
was,
set up
yeah,
in places throughout
Throughout-
the place.
yeah.
That's how we got
was like a maze.
crafty over time. We started learning the ropes,
Yeah.
setting things up so that
So
we
it
can
flowed
do it.
quicker.
And then boom, 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 boom. So everybody's time wasn't wasted.
Yeah, and then we jump back on a plane and celebrate at the airport.
They have to celebrate, right?
Absolutely.
In my
Dude,
mind-
after a long day like that of fish shopping, it's from like 6 a.m. start.
Yeah.
Like, 6 a.m. We'd go till like 8, 9, right?
Yeah, because
By
we
the
would
time
leave
get
Vegas.
home.
They leave Vegas and
Yeah.
they fly there. Go
Yeah.
because it's right by the airport.
Yeah.
They drop off in LA, film all day, and then fly back.
Well, I'm sorry
Yeah.
if I am, because you had celebrities also just, your average person you're
And it's-
revealing a tank for. But if I have you in my house and you're revealing my fish tank,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're partying. We're having a
Right,
celebration.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's real. It's like musty in there. It's like you're trying not to sweat.
Nope.
It's wet. You're wearing boots.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like it's hot because it's it's SoCal. It's
Yeah.
a big warehouse.
Humid.
It's humid. I'm concerned about my hair. This one's never concerned about his hair. So I'm like, oh my God, Heather. She's like, it was such a great time. It became so fun.
I love this question. It's the last one here. What is your favorite fish to work with and your least favorite fish to work with?
I would say my favorite personal fish is I like clown trigger. I like the colors on them. I like that they're aggressive. They're cool looking fish. They're hardy. But I think just learning about all the different kinds of fish, everything from freshwater to sharks to stingrays. We were able to learn about all of this. The show enabled us to give education. So, just like an actor or anybody else that's doing a movie, we have to study a script to learn about things. Like I didn't know about every fish under the sun. I had to learn about it. In order for me to talk to you intelligently, I had to learn about it. So I was able to learn about a lot of these fish, and which eventually made me a fish expert, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's how you learn, just the show was great for that.
So for me too, because I really fell in love with natural reef tanks. We had a big reef tank in there, and I remember I'd go out there before we'd film a lot. We'd film a lot in the shop with where the fish were, and I'd go to the reef tank, and there'd be these little tiny, tiny shrimp, and I go, Wade, what's that shrimp called? And it's called a sexy shrimp, right? It's a little. Have you seen this shrimp?
The sexy shrimp?
Yeah.
No.
It's literally tiny.
It was like the sea monkeys would have as a kid.
Not that tiny, but-
It is so cute, and I'm like, it's really called the sexy shrimp. He's like, yeah, it's called the sexy shrimp. I'm like, oh my God, it's like that would that be so? That to me was like mesmerized because it was so tiny,
Yeah.
and so pretty. It's just like, and then my least one was the big. I mean, the eels we had.
Yeah, we had some big.
Oh my God, did you see the eels we had?
Oh, but eels. You guys did scorpions.
Oh
I
my
mean, some of the
God,
stuff you deal
they
with.
were just. I remember when I first started working there, we had those eels, and then over all those years, how big those
They got
eels
big.
got, and we fed them. They scared the living
look on your
pants.
face right now is like you're
no,
grotesque.
because
Yeah.
this one's afraid of snakes. Did you know
Yeah,
he's afraid of snakes? Like he's deathly afraid of
Really?
snakes. Deathly.
I mean, I cured my fears a little bit. I went to a couple of these conventions recently, put some big snakes on me just like for a couple of seconds.
Oh, you did. I think I saw.
Yeah,
something
so
like that.
on social media. But
Yeah,
my real goal is I don't know if you know this guy. His name's Jay. It's called Jay's Prehistorics. He's got, if you look him up, he's from California. This guy's got a shop, and I mean, he gets 20, 30, 40, 50 million views because all he does is snakes and alligators. He's got like 30-foot pythons. I'm going to have to try to go there and cure my fears.
No.
Well, that'll be an episode of the podcast.
Oh, for sure.
No.
We'll film that and everything.
I want to do it like sexy Britney Spears style.
yeah.
Remember that outfit when she had that
Yeah,
snake?
absolutely. Well, I think that'll do it for episode number 4. And Betty White, we lost a national treasure, and you guys had the honor of working with her and had to be very special.
Definitely
Yep.
very special, and rip Betty White, and it was just an amazing opportunity to be able to work with her and to say that we work with the legends. So
Yep.
thanks for that.
Absolutely. Thank
Awesome.
you.
We're back next week with episode number 5. Thank you,
Yeah,
guys.
thanks.
Yeah.